this particular experience. You don't have to come in big, folks. You don't have to come in big for it to grow big. You come in with a vision. You come in with the determination. You observe. You learn. Now, starting a business in the DR is not easy. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges. Okay, because sometimes people come in, this is what I'm gonna do and it's gonna be great. But they don't realize that there are challenges that you have to overcome. And so they become discouraged when they start to face them. Especially if you're a foreigner that doesn't know anything about the DR. You don't know anything about the culture, you don't know about how it works. So you come in, you start putting money into a business without taking the time to learn, without getting your footing. And then when you come across obstacles, people get discouraged. You face when you started business?
That's a great question. Everything that they've said, like every word that they say, raises a little bit of like height and awareness what I've gone through, right? For example, they're tigres, right? There's people all around that look at us like the golden goose, and they want to put their little paws on the golden egg right away.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that I learned here is like, I come from Idaho, where everybody's like, you know, hey friend, how are you doing? Would you like some fresh eggs from the chickens? You know, like everybody's really friendly and we all like believe in each other. I'm not from New York, I'm from Idaho. When I came down here, man, I was, you know, fresh blood with those sharks. And it was some of the best experiences of my life, because what I did is I thought I could trust like that. And I learned really quickly, $30,000 later, that quick, that guy actually wasn't my brother, you know, and the money come in and was going right back out into his pocket. Learning the language, right, is a big deal, and they speak Dominican, you know, que lo que, con que lo que, mi gente. You know, it's a different language, it's a different cultural thing. The way that they talk, the way that they act. And I think that's a huge deal. Being able to communicate and being transparent with people is imperative. I think starting from the beginning, like Maria would say, is just having things in order, doing the small things so you're compliant with their rules and regulations. How many times have I had issues because I didn't do it the right way at the beginning, and someone would show up and be like, hey man, I'm from Medio Ambiente, I'm from the EPA. Oh, you didn't have that permit? Oh, okay. Hey, amigo, tú sabes, él no tiene papeles. And then I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, you don't have papers? Oh, I'm sorry, but we can do a little thing for you over here and help you out. Just this time, because you're a good gringo and you're helping us. And so there's just thing after thing. And by being compliant, doing all this stuff, I think that it does make a big difference. And I think everything in life is about hacking, right? So if she's the best, then I'm gonna go to the best and make it so it's easier, right? Like, why invent the freaking wheel when it was invented like 500,000 years ago, right? Like, they already got it figured out. We don't need to do that. You do what you do best. Put your energy in what you do best. So when we're talking about business out here, I can tell you guys, I built $1 billion business plan on a piece of paper. I wrote it out, gives me goosebumps, and I just started writing out all the different tentacles and arms off of this octopus that I could create $1 billion here. And you can be like, oh, that's bullshit, Bart. You can't do that. I'm telling you right now. There's so much opportunity here. There's so many raw materials here, right? Like, think of it, there's $1 billion industry just with coconut husks, okay? Coconut husks. Well, who cares about coconut husks? Well, it's one of the main sources of gardening in the United States. Those coconut fibers hold moisture. And you know, I'm sorry if is this boring?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
But coconut husk holds moisture. And I didn't know this. So a lot of gardeners will go out and they'll buy billions of dollars of coconut husk to put in their gardens because that moisture helps grow the plants. Something I had no clue about. Coconut oil, right? How about a Saturday's market in the United States, right? And you have your own little branding and you have coconut oil. You know how much coconut oil is worth and how much you can get it for here? How about little coconut bracelets I used to make those for all my clients at the Treehouse Village. So when you come to the Treehouse Village, I'd give you this really cool thing that's a Dominican Treehouse Village made out of a coconut shell. It was the coolest bracelet ever, right? How much could you sell that for? Larimar. I mean, I could just go off product after product. How about vanilla? They have great vanilla here. How about honey? There's all these products that you can export, but then here domestically, like where we're at in Samaná, we're getting 2 new cruise terminals, 10,000 passengers a day. So I'm in this meeting with a bunch of people, and the Jewish guys, they're always in the forefront. Those Jewish guys, those guys are real ballers, dude. Those guys know what's going on. And they've already bought the land to build their jewelry stores there, because that's what they're really good at, right? But imagine 10,000 people coming off the cruise ships. That's happening in Samaná. So you just go around and you watch and you observe. You see what things going on, from clothing to so many different aspects of everything. Like, for example, my kids are like, Dad, you know, they're 11, 7, and 4. They're like, we want to make money. You know, you make it seem so easy. And I said, okay. What we'll do is we'll buy jump houses and a barbecue, like, you know, one of those barbecues, and we'll get a sound system. So we're probably talking $2,000 or $3,000. That's it. And what we're going to do is, for my kids, this isn't my business, but for my kids, we're going to solicit birthday bounce house. So we'll go down to the Malecon, we'll get a generator, plug it in, and we'll blow up all these bounce houses. We'll make the hot dogs for the kids, because that's what they do here. We'll buy them their little pops, and then we'll have music. Dun, 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 dun. You remember that song? I don't know if you guys did. But that's another business. Yeah. Compañía. Yeah, whatever it is. But my whole point with all this stuff is, it's really looking at what you're passionate about that you like. She talked about alcohol. I love that business, but I don't love that business. So for me, I personally wouldn't want to be involved with it because I don't drink. But other people, you know, they want to get sloppy, they want to do that stuff, and they see the value in where they can give it to people. He saw the value on the transactional side of things. Anything and anyone that comes down here, you're going to have that aha moment that's like, wow. For you, you had your niche. She saw it where it was, okay, I'm an attorney. Oh, I see this. So for me, I'm going to have hundreds, if not thousands of people that are going to come through. And because of our relationship, how many people do you think I'm going to pull and push right to her? If she's nice. I'm going to send everybody over to her.
Too late. And it's done.
Yes, I want to kind of show you all how synergy works, because something you just said about the cruise ship. So mention, if you would say that, you said that there were going to be 2 ships with 10,000 people coming off. So I saw that same vision, and I said, when all 10,000 of those people come off the cruise ship, they don't need to bring their credit cards, because they can lose them, things can happen. So what I said was, I need to connect with all of the with all the merchants and the cruise lines, so that when they left the ship, everybody would have the app. And so when they went to transact with the merchants, they would just have to use their phone, because that's the only thing they would need to leave on a cruise ship. Because when you leave the cruise ship and you have your cell phone, you have your wallet, you have all these things, if something gets lost in a day and a half, you're somewhere around somewhere else. So when you were saying that, that thought hit me a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I need to, because I was driving through Puerto Plata, and I saw that big ship, and I was like, yeah.
And not to digress a little bit, but here's a new idea that I had, like, especially a lot of you guys are getting into real estate. But so buying really nice tiles and things here can be very, very expensive. So like, I'm always trying to be a tigre, like a slick guy, trying to get a better deal, all that stuff. So what I did is I went to the Home Depot and I went to the clearance area right there, and all of a sudden they have unlimited supplies of tile for 99 cents. So imagine getting all the latest and greatest stuff that's in their 99 cents clearance rack, but that's top end stuff that can be brought here. And I'm saying that just to give different ideas on the possibilities outside the realm of just the real estate. Now on the real estate side of it, it's just endless. And Abel blew my mind because he was talking a lot on just the city, right? Think of just in the city, this place is popping. It's always gonna pop, it's always gonna be growing, and you can build a business off of that. I'm starting to talk with her. Like, I need property management. You'd be like, well, Bart, what do you got? It's not today. It's the next 2, 3, or 4 years. There's so many houses getting built in my area, and I don't want to do the business. And you think about Abel. He said a big word. Yeah, it's only 20%, right? And that's how smart property managers are. You guys and we are taking all the risk, right? And let's say that we have $10 million of transactions and they get 20%, or $1 million, or $100,000 from one client at 20%. That's a phenomenal business to make $20,000 to make sure the toilet's clean. And so when you think in terms of a lot of these things, there's so much that's out there. But one of the greatest, I guess, pieces of advice for everybody is, if you don't speak the language, learn it as fast as you can. Because if you're going to come here and play this game, you need to learn Dominican. Yep. Not Castellano from Spain, because when I came and said, Felicidades, civilización, they looked at me like, what the heck? I had to learn this stuff in here. And when you learn the language, all it takes is something very easy. Learn the verbs. There's 500 of the most used verbs in the Spanish language. And then, if you only learn 10 to 20 words a day, that's not very much, 10 words, to walk, to run, all those things, 10 words a day, you can master the language in literally months.
There's something that I wanted to mention, because we've discussed here how it is that you come here and you're kind of like a sitting duck, because everybody's looking at you with those like, man, this is the chance. We're gonna pluck this turkey live. But here's the thing, and I've said this in my YouTube channel, adhere to common sense. You're gonna realize that if you employ common sense in what you do, you won't be a sitting duck. I just don't know what happens when people cross the Atlantic. They will do things here that they won't do back home.
Right, it's true.
I went to this one event, very wealthy investor, so he pays one of the guys in the hotel where the event is to take him around. I said, you don't know anything about this individual, y'all just met. The next thing I know, he's sending me photos of him in the guy's house having dinner. What is a person of that kind of resources doing with a stranger in his house? Would you do that in the States? You wouldn't, would you?
Maybe. I'm kidding.
I know you're not. That's different. She got an attitude, so she could go in a stranger's car, and I feel sorry for the stranger. I tell the serial killer, get the hell out before it's too late. But anyway.
That's not nice.
So what I'm saying is, common sense. There are things that you would never do. Signing a contract in Spanish when you don't speak the language without an English translation.
Yep.
You understand? Purchasing a property that you have not vetted. Okay? Like Bart says, some guy says, I'm gonna do you a favor. No. I don't know who you are. How do I know you're not gonna take my money and run? That's what anybody else would do. So you're going to find that if you use your common sense, which you've acquired from experience, folks, most of you own businesses back home. And there are things you just would not do because experience will not allow. Same applies here. Even more so, you have to be even more cautious because you're in a foreign country, you don't speak the language, you don't know how things are. But you see Bart, how he came? He said he came from Idaho, a country bumpkin, right? I wish you saw him now. People in Samaná are afraid of him. They call him the tigre. How did that happen? Because the longer you are in a place, the more you get to know it.
You immerse yourself into the culture.
You begin to learn to navigate. And that's something that takes time. So don't step off the plane thinking, please, this is DR. I know what I'm doing.
And not only use common sense, but we live in a world of information. So try to at least understand what the market is for certain things. and gauge it off of that. Because if somebody's gonna ask you for $100 to go to the airport and you only gotta go 4 miles, really?
Yeah.
You know? So use information, look up what a gallon of milk costs, what a gallon of gas costs, just your typical things, and that way you understand. A lot of people don't think to do that. So use common sense and the information that's out there to help you navigate. And don't go to strangers' houses for dinner.
Well, folks, this is the time